Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Proxy Table Gaming, Hyper G and Lucky Sixes are here with you.
Bonjour, mon ami.
How's things?
Good, mate. Yep, cracking on. Uh,
Hot.
hot, and probably at this point thunder showery in terms of life. That's what always comes after a heat wave, isn't it?
They say. Maybe not.
Stay safe wherever you are.
And hydrate.
And hydrate. Thanks again to Matt Pell for, you might have noticed in the intro, that's slightly different to usual. Thank you very much for that lovely jingle. It gets our rock on before every. Careful how you say that as well. But yes, we're here for Clash, and oh my goodness, I was very excited. And just to give you a tiny bit of the atmosphere, look at this. Look at this venue.
Oh, that's amazing. That's very cool.
And yeah, I mean, this was.
They're all the tables on the right, are they?
They're all the tables on the right. This is me being an absolute keen bean, turning up before anyone else on the Friday, and this was in action from the top, because obviously there's two tiers. There was actually an AOS, an Age of Sigmar tournament going on at the same time. And on the Friday, we played football against them. A select few of us anyway. And so that was good.
Any pictures of that?
I haven't got a picture, however, bear with me.
No, I'm bearing with you. Bearing.
I don't know whether I told you about this either. We won!
Hey!
It's quite...
I think, based on my football experience, the only question I asked you about it was, did you get injured?
Did I get injured? Yeah, I know, yeah.
Which you didn't.
Best football team for Clash 2022. Ninth age, well done.
Forget the 4 Clash 22. You are officially the best football team.
Well, no, it says Clash 22.
Sentence. Oh, okay. All right.
But we're currently,
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that rematch. But yes, so no, very, very good. I again on the Friday I tried to get in as much as I could. So I got there about 2, had and then others started coming about 4, and I had to about 3, and I had to go to football at 5. So I ended up trying to have a speed game with this young chappie, Edgar,
of course,
with his Empire and stuff. We had about an hour, and we managed to get 3 deployment and 3 turns. So that was quite fun. I then led it to Jordan Davis and the Chester crew to carry on, and apparently I won 12-8. So what a good omen, eh?
Yeah.
Clash.
Obviously, the first 3 turns were the most important part of that battle.
I set them up. Yeah, they just
set them up for the win.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that was a fun game. I may be doing some content on Giants after this game.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I also stayed there later in the evening to watch Terry, and his
beautiful
miners
man
dismantle a chosen lord, which was insane to watch.
Don't say that often.
No, very, very fun battle. Good to chat to them. And versus Tom Cruise, the only warriors at Clash. What the hell, guys?
What is going on?
That's why I took vampires.
Come on. Good.
Anyway, but yes. So no, all fun and games, and of course there was a few drinks in the evening.
1 or 2. Peronis, your favourites.
It is.
If anyone wants to send Lucky Sixes a case of Peronis in the hot weather, I'm sure he would appreciate it.
Oh mate, I'm all over it.
Mainly because he usually overpays for it. So.
Yeah, I do. This was 4 for a tenner, so I've done all right on this one. I got the bar, but yeah, it's obviously inspired by our good friend Peteglio. Peteglio. But come on, let's get down to business. And my first match was a VC off.
We're all VC at the moment, aren't we?
Obviously, I'd like to think I'm quite astute with the VC lot, but I've never had a VC off. So
never. Oh right, okay.
I was very intrigued. When?
You have. You had one in the UB tournament, Scottish Open, not last year because you didn't go to 21, but no, it was 21 Scottish Open. You played against, was it Sean?
Well,
Hughes?
I've never had it in real life then.
Oh, all right, okay. But on UB, you definitely have had
All right,
a UB off.
fair enough. A VC
Sorry.
off, fair enough. Well, this is my list. We'll go through it in this one more than the others because this is what I'm taking in the whole tournament thing. 2 vampire Count Killy Lords who are Brother of the Dragon. One is a lanced, Blessed Inscriptions Crimson Rage, so he's got 5 attacks, strength 7 on the charge. Every wound he does is another attack, so it's nice. So possible 10 wounds, although well done if you've ever got that. He's a 1-up rerollable, no Aegis save, offensive 9 with Rod of Battle and Dragonbane Gem. Or Dragonfire Gem.
And you're taking account of how many times you cast Rod of Battle for me.
Don't worry, I took pictures.
Okay.
And yes, I said pictures. Plural.
Okay, all right. You have to cast it 19 times.
Okay.
Be happy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Vampire Count. My other one is a paired weapons use, so 6 attacks. He's Eternal Duelist, so re-rolling 1s to hit and to wound, and that's especially useful when you're offensive 10 and strength 8. So most things.
Well,
I cannot remember coming up against anything where I didn't hit and wound on 2s.
Sure. You could argue that getting the rerolls when you're already hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s is actually less useful.
Or it stops any spikes.
Chance of missing. Yeah. No, yeah. There's different ways of looking at it.
He's also got, so he's 1-up, 1-time rerollable with Lucky Charm, and Talisman and Shielding for the 5-up Aegis to have a bit of that. Both of them have Flaming Aegis for Quicksilver Lash, basically, and any sort of other flaming stuff that's going around. Necromancer, my general Necromancer, is just an adept on Evo with Necromancer staff. I would love him to be a master. I just need another 150 points.
Yeah, it's not even close, is it, really?
I can't quite do it with what I've got in my Vampire Knights. So we'll see how that evolves maybe after the tournament. 40 ghouls, 25 and 26 zombies, both with musician and one with a standard. Direwolves with champion, in case cowboys really. 2 bat swarms to end the core. Great bats and Donnie Dark coach. 5 vampire knights with full command. And Shrieking Horror, for anyone that's seen the previous ones, I guess the Shrieking Horror is the new addition, as well as reverting back to the 2 Vampire Count Lords. So
yeah, you weren't a fan of the Court of the Damned build, were you? So.
No, it's a bit too defensive for me.
Not your style.
I need to be running around the place causing havoc. And the Shrieking Horror is honestly, I think it's good, but I also haven't ever used it in a tournament, and it's been on my shelf, one of the first models I painted up, so I wanted to use it. And argument is you go 2, like the chariot thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think I've got enough other threats where it won't be the main target of my opponent. So yeah. On the other hand, Gareth takes 2 Shrieking Horrors, one of which has a Lord on it. Oh, 920 points. Vampire Count. He is a 5-up regen as opposed to a 6-up regen on him, and obviously his shamanism as well. So you need to be high strength, and if you are 5-up, wounded in a 5-up. True Thirst is strength +1 strength and a better, I think 5-up rerollable vampiric as well. And just to top things off, he's got Obsidian Rock. So,
hard to target with magic.
There you go. 2 necromancers, both adepts, one with necromantic staff, the alchemy guy, and one with magical heirloom, lightning vambraces. So plenty of magic going around around that. 2 banshees for a bit of more screamage.
I like the banshees. I'm seeing them more and more as like just a single chaff model as much as anything else.
Yeah, single chaff when it gets dicey, I guess, from that regard. 3 units of skeletons, which are really, really cool. 1 bigger one with halberds that he puts in horde formation with rending banner, so they go through
making a comeback. Skeletons.
Yeah. I guess with the necromancers raising them beyond Starting size, that helps. 20 zombies for a little bit extra scoring, and then dire wolves to finish off core. Corpse giant, which is very cool. There's also there's pictures of his corpse giant floating around, and all his units actually on the forum. Very, very nicely painted, and the whole army was lovely to play up against. Some more dogs in special this time. 10 spectral hunters, which actually, because of my flaming wards, I'm not too bothered about in this battle. The other Shrieking Horror, and a Varkalak, which was nice to see because I love.
You switch sides.
Yeah,
you got to drop him.
Again, I didn't know. I said in the list review I thought this was either going to be a 10-10 or a drawish or a big win. I think someone's either going to get diced or it's going to be a bit of a standoff, and so we'll see how that prediction was from my point of view. Frontline clash and hold the centre for the thing.
So the simple one, really.
It was the simple one. It was also
punch up.
This is the clash was the last tournament before ETC. If you're watching this in any sort of regard to that, which meant Slash just had the same objectives in the same rounds.
Oh, okay, sure.
So a bit of practice for some ETCers.
Very kind of him.
So this was obviously round 1 of the ETC. So there we go. Drawn, of course, by the lovely Matt and Kev from the Ped Weapon podcast. Go check that out. And it was drawn on YouTube, their first YouTube thing, which was awesome.
Yeah, join the fun.
But enough of the introduction. Here we go, back to business. So from my point of view, left to right, I have the Shrieking Horror out there. Just behind him is a Impassable. So
okay.
And there's nothing else out there really. Dogs with my Lance, or is it Sir Killalot? I forget his second name. The second
Killerson.
Killerson is on the right with the Vampire Knights. So I forget who my second name is. That's good, isn't it? But yeah, so we got the Lance, Blessed Inscriptions, Divine Attacks on the left, basically to just chew through the Spectral Hunters. Dark Coach over here to give some march ranges. Zombies, ghouls, zombies, chaff, and then on the right I've got Killerson and the Knights. Not. My biggest worry actually comes in his deployment. I thought he deployed fairly well in terms of negating much for me. He's dropped to go first, and Varkalak's come up after Vanguard. He's got Spectral, obviously the Varkalak, Spectral Hunters, Dogs, zombies. Behind it is the normal Shrieking Horror. Behind the house is the Lord on a Shrieking Horror. Then skeletons. The one in horde formation are the Howlbirds with a few Banshees in it. Corpse Giant and Dogs. He has the character that's just sitting out the hill is the Alchemy one. Obviously wanting to quick clash my chaps. And in the other skeleton unit, the other side of the Howlbirds, I think is the Evo chap.
So if he dropped for first, you weren't worried about putting the Knights on the same side as the quick clash?
No, to be honest, because I put them as far away. So part of the reason of my deployment and why I've split up the Lords on either side, because I need to have I need to have threats on both flanks, right? So the Vampire Knights and the Lord sort that out on the right, and the other stuff sorts it out on the left. I can't really go near him while the Shrieking Horrors are together with anything.
Yeah.
Any of my Lords on soloing will die. And the Vampire Knights, if he gets both of them in, will die. So I've got to try and split him up somehow. And I don't really know how to do that. How I'm going to do that at the minute. But this is just because if they're together, they have that 24-inch range where it's just going to be
one can cover the other. If one dies, then the other one finishes off what's left.
Exactly, and he can't really come to me without making sure he kills something, because otherwise I'll kill him. So this is why the standoff sort of things. But if I can split them up, I can be a bit risky and force something. Maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
We'll see. That's the plan. From his point of view, his movement, it keeps them close together. So my deployment obviously didn't do any of that, and moves up pretty aggressively on the left-hand side. I guess to try and counter the horror, and very tentatively on the right.
I guess the 4-up fortitude on the Varkalak is the best defense against the scream, isn't it?
Yeah, somewhat. But obviously, I've got my lord as well, who, while the divine is good, it obviously doesn't work against fortitude. So, yeah, it's it is what it is. I'm not too bothered about the Varkalak actually, because I don't think he can kill anything before I go, and I think I'll have enough to. He doesn't fly and everything, so he will be annoying, but I think I'm all right. Is what I think with him. So yeah, that's it. Obviously hold the center. So start is the march towards the center with his skeletons starts to occur. I'm pretty happy with the ghouls in the center. I think the ghouls can take most of his core, and zombies will just be there to add scoring. So the reason my chaff is where it is next to the necromancer is to try and hold up some of his scoring, so that I can win some early objectives, really. That was all for his turn. In terms of magic, I think it was a bust. I remember it being pretty bad, magic-wise. But yeah. Then onto my turn. I come back on the left-hand side and just sort of give myself a nice little cushion from everything, making sure everything is more range away from the Shrieking Horrors. The Dark Coach, he can come forward and scream at me against the Dark Coach with
you got 4 pages there.
With his lord. But if he does, the world is going into him.
Yeah, even if you lose the Dark Coach.
So, yeah.
Which you shouldn't.
I shouldn't. Because he's only got 6, I've got 4 pages, so absolute worst case scenario, 3, I think.
Yeah, and you can heal that back. You should.
Yeah. So, however, the dogs, I've got no idea what to do with them. But this is in my head. I'm thinking they can't do anything on this side.
No.
I could sort of stop the Varkalak, but I want the Varkalak to charge me and then me to kill it because I'm going first and things like that. So I just put them there. I was like,
get them out of the way of the left flank. They're in the way on the left.
If he kills them with something, then fine. And then he's closer, and then I get something closer to the objective in the middle. I'm really like, you know what? Go for it.
Could you have moved them behind the Dark Coach and literally just tapped out for them?
Yeah, but I wanted to see what this would do actually. It's only 100 points, and I thought, you know what? Let's see what this does. At worst, he thinks I've got a plan, and I don't.
You never have a plan.
Yeah, the Necro sort of shifts over, and the zombies move so that they're 6 inches apart now. The ghouls go a bit forward because they're not really fussed about anything. Even if the Lord comes in on his own, I've got the 6-ups poison, so he won't chew through me in a turn, and then I'll have some counter charges and raises on my turn, so I don't mind too much. The right hand side, I split the units because he hasn't got any Shrieking Horrors anywhere near me, so I'm pretty happy if he charges or chaffs or whatever. They're just going to pick up points on that side. That's all they're going to do, really. The alchemy guy is annoying against my knights, but against my lords, I've got a 3-up. So it's
if you remember it.
If I remember it, very correct. I scream and do 2 wounds, so
that's good.
Pretty happy.
I suppose he hasn't got a lot of easy arises near there with only one lord.
No, he hasn't. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. He's down enough that if he goes into my lord, then I'll just punk him. If he goes into my Shrieking Horror, I think I can do the last 2 wounds with the shriek.
Yeah,
because he's only got 5 attacks. All that.
You shouldn't kill a horror in one go, especially with your.
So he's strength 6, I'm res 6, and I've got a regen to it. So it's like, I think I'll punk him, and that'll be on his turn. So I'm not too bothered. Over here, I don't know what this dice. Oh no, I do know what this dice is.
It's the centre.
This is the dogs. His dogs charge the rear of my dogs, and get triple 1s.
His dogs? What, the ones in 2 formation?
2 formation, yeah.
They can actually get the rear?
No, they get the flank.
Oh, you said rare.
Oh, did I? Apologies.
Fine.
Flank.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's a hell of a rare charge.
Yeah, no, they charge the flank
Okay.
of my unit and
And
get
get
a
a triple
one and just
Brilliant.
stumble forward, which I'm like, yes, come on, something's happened. I mean, it's really bad luck, and it would have killed him, but hey, doesn't matter. Oh, here it is, and here's the triple one
nice.
to show.
There it is.
Other movements. So he moves back with the Valkalak, obviously thinking.
Oh! I see something.
The same. Okay. Yeah. Moves back with the Valkalak, obviously thinking the same as me. The Spectral Hunters come right over to try and threaten my flank. I think I'm out of line of sight. I can't remember.
Okay.
But we'll say that. His Lord comes left, and his Shrieking Horror goes over to protect.
You've split them up.
So I've kind of split them up. I think very similar in thinking is that he can't just afford my guys to just run rampant over there. So it has to have some regard over here. Chaffs both the units with the giant and the dogs. And skeletons are there to maybe get a counter charge, I guess. Both of his wizards come out and form a unit themselves. I don't have any range apart from the Shrieking Horror. Sure. So this is, I guess, looking at it, is quite a weakness of my list, is that I have no threat range in terms of missile damage or anything like that. So that is...
And what option is there to you? Evocation? Just not even... Hasten the Hour might be useful.
I guess. But... Yeah. So the
Touch
the
the
snipes
Reaper.
Or whatever. But the snipes are useful even if they're in units. So, I mean, that's a thing for the review, I guess. But,
your path really hasn't got much options.
But it means that they're very manoeuvrable around, which is fair enough. So I might struggle to get them points. But yeah, so this is how he moves up. Moving up as much as he can towards the centre. But again, one of the scoring has gone away from the centre, so I'm fairly happy in that regard. The Banshee comes up to chaff my dog, so basically, so that I can't get out. I can't get out of the way of the centre. I think is the plan, because it is my 2 next. So he's only got his zombies and his skeletons in. If I can get 3 in, I obviously win the objective.
Space is a bit tight.
Yeah. And it's also mean that my dogs can't go into his zombies, which might.
And the dogs probably won't get through a Banshee either.
No. This is raise. He raises up some, which I allow. There's not much. I don't think I'm getting through these units anyway, so it's fine. The scream from the Banshee kills 4, which actually helps me out a bit in terms of space. And he raises a dead on the left, which is what that blank movement tray is on the left.
Oh right, okay, sure.
I let that one off because I was like, I don't care. I don't know what. I'm very right now. I'm very I don't think they can do anything. So if he does, it proves me wrong.
Sure.
2 charges. I charge my Banshee. So the reason I charged the Banshee was actually because if I charged the ghouls to allow the ghouls to charge firstly. And I wanted to go against the skeleton unit first because they haven't got parry, they've got spears, and I think they don't do much to me because they're strength 3. Also, if I charge the dogs in and the ghouls, it means I can't completely maximise with the skeletons, which means I don't present my flank to this halberd unit.
Okay.
Which is they're the one-on-one, I'm not sure how
and then you can shift over whenever you're ready.
So I shift over if I'm ready and if I can chaff them, which I likely can. And also, it will give me a round to get that rerolls to hit up as well. So, a few reasons, but that was part of it. Charge these to get rid of them, and remain in movement. I was really glad, obviously with the Dark Coach over there, that I could march my Shrieking Horror out of line of sight of anything. The Spectral Hunters don't have the
Reaper
thing on them, so the Shrieking Horror, unless he puts his Lord over there, is really safe. And obviously, if he puts his Lord over there, he's not in where the action is. So, kind of win-win in my eyes. For that. The only downside of all this was that my main dude had to be where he is now in order to not be able to be shrieked.
Sure.
So my Lancer, so Lancer kill a lot. So he's a bit further away for any counter charges than I'd like, but
he's still on the hill.
He's still on the hill. He can still see stuff. But it was. I reluctantly put him there rather than put him on the left to counter some.
It's the sensible decision, even though you don't like it.
I leave a long charge for his Spectral Hunters because I want to try and bait his Lord into my Dark Coach. I don't think I do well, but I don't think I lose because of the 4 pages. The 4 pages is massive in that, and I can. Yeah. He's only strength 6 with a 5 up, so maybe punk a few wounds on him as well. So
your ghouls failed their charge in the middle,
but the ghouls failed. So which meant that I had to, but they were within 6 of the centre, which was good. So I could only draw this time. And because of that, I don't want his halberds to come up any closer. So I chaff them so that they can't get within 6 if they charge the bat swarm. And my bacon sandwich holds up my zombies.
I didn't even notice that. That's the first time I've noticed that. Brilliant.
Thank you, Tony, for that. I was a bit hanging. So yeah, the main bats just come on the hill to chaff something later on because of 18-inch movement. I've got loads more zombies as well. I can't remember whether that's this turn or next. I shriek off 3.
Brilliant. Cool.
I don't mind. It's largely irrelevant, but these are harder to raise if he can. So I get a charge, and I actually have an overrun into his skeletons with my Lord, which was a 6.
You rolled a 5,
which I failed.
Okay.
Oh, if I get
it's not ideal.
If I get that, I'm away from the Shrieking Horror. Scream. I can just chew through skeletons for the rest of the game. No counter charges.
No.
That scoring unit's gone. My guy survives. Happy days. Now not so much.
He's got a tough choice. Who does he scream?
However, well, yeah. So he does have that choice.
It's pretty obvious.
You got to be the Lord, right? However, I've got 5 pages.
Yes,
so
there's that.
I could survive here, and if I survive, I could charge because he's going to want to chaff me anyway, or run away and raise.
Your discipline 9.
Discipline 9. He's got 6.
So he's only wounded on 3.
Wounded on 3s, and I've got 5 up. So it's not a dead cert, like in any regard.
You saved 2 out of 4, assuming he.
So, but I was like, I just want to get in to this unit.
Safety in combat, yeah.
Because then I'm in his front as well. He can't. Nothing can charge me. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I get a raise off, so these dogs come back, and then he kills them again. So these are just like that. Yeah. I get a wound as well. Hooray! I actually get 3 wounds, I think, and he saves because he's got 3 up pages or something, whatever it is. And he saves a load of them. So they could have done a few more, but because of that, they crumble 1. I think he does 3. I do 1. I've got charge, so I crumble 1. They're there in the middle. I don't really care.
Yeah.
This is an overview.
It's heating up.
He charges the chaff. He takes the long charge, and it is in my flank. So I think he needs an 11. If he gets this, that's not great. That's not great for me.
Yeah. Need Vincent to step up if he gets
that. The zombies in front, though, because remember there is a unit of zombies there. Don't charge in, obviously. He fails. Whoop, which is amazing, really, because I now have an 8 to get into them with the Dark Coach, and obviously it's an auto on the left-hand side with the Shrieking Horror. His movement, he does move his Lord over to the Shrieking Horror, which makes him less viable for the counter charge, but at least he's out of the way completely over this end of the pitch, right? I've still got to deal with him in the rest of the turns. I think this is like his turn 3 or something. But yeah, that's happened. I'm not actually too bothered by this. Also, he moved his Varklet up. I don't know what he was. I guess just trying to.
He's out of line of sight of the Dark Coach.
Out of line of sight of the Dark Coach. However, the Spectral Hunters aren't.
No.
So, which is why I did this. To make sure for myself.
Demonstrate that he
and my Lord can see his Varklek because he's on a hill.
You could just charge both.
So I could just charge both. I'm
While
keeping
screaming the Shrieking Horror.
keeping very quiet here because I'm like that's not bad. That's not bad. And also there is an overrun from the Varkalak into the the Spectral Hunters, which means if I play it right, if I get them both in, I can fight twice and overrun twice with with my Lord in, and I'll be strength 7 charging, going first against his vampire.
Yeah, nice. Like
I'm quite pleased with that actually. Magic does 1, the Shriek does 4. I'm a survive, which is I'm happy enough to be alive at this point. Shrieking Horror is less useful.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
I need to try and get 1 raise and conserve his points. That's what I got to do.
Absolutely.
Over here.
Ooh. So
goes against my chap.
Shrieking Horrors, man.
Shrieking Horror. He did 3 wounds and didn't save. That was it. It was on the Aegis. If I save 1, I survive, but I didn't. So that's annoying. So we'll see what I'd try and do over there. He goes through the dogs. Obs. I don't do any wounds this time. He goes through the chaff. And we're on to my turn. I employ the plan.
Who's going to fail the charge?
Right. Yeah. I also, in the middle, charge the ghouls into the thing because I think combat raise will kill him. It's worth noting, in my practice speed game, I had my ghouls 8 wide, and I've forever had my ghouls 8 wide. I've now gone to 7 wide, and I'm thinking I might try this for the tournament. I'm not sure. Okay. There might be some matchups where I need 8 wide and obviously the extra rank of attacks, but the 3 ranks has come up quite a lot, and it's a guaranteed 3 combat res. Whereas if I get 8 wide, I need to do with those 8 attacks. I need to do 3 wounds, which against zombies and stuff obviously is better. But I want to keep the ranks, and it's something I'm trying to keep in my head.
I've tended to flip to 7 wide with most of my units as well.
So there's that as a thought. My zombies are on a hill, so they have I think an 8 re-rollable to get into his zombies, and I got loads more, baby. Although I think
my zombies trump yours.
Yeah, I think he has raised a few, so it's bigger than what it looks like there. Everything gets in.
Apart from the ghouls. I know the ghouls are in the bunch.
Everything gets in. I've also got enough movement to move my zombies up to be within 6, so I'm 3 versus 2, and obviously this is the end of 3, I think. It's 3 or 4, I can't remember. But yeah, so I have an overrun with the guy on the left into his things. I'd obviously then maximise, which is the second one in, I'd go level with, but I still have an overrun into his Lord. And I'm not planning on putting both the Dark Coach and my Lord. I'll just go Lord straight in. Because of impact hits and challenging out and things like that.
Were you tempted to put the Shrieking Horror into the flank of his Lord to support the overrun with Dark Coach? I know that he'll kill the Shrieking Horror, but he would have to reduce his attacks on the Dark Coach.
Not this turn, because so my thought process was when I get into this Lord, I'll have a charge, and then whatever we do. If I get the Shrieking Horror in this turn, I'll lose that charge, but I do get the flank. However, if I hold up for 2 turns and then charge, I get another +2.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
And I think that would be more worth. I mean, I'm kind of thinking it'd be like
plus your other character might be in by then. Yeah.
So, and I might get raises in case of anything. Exactly. And I mean, if anything goes wrong now, like I don't get the overrun, then So, so there's a few reasons, and plus he's safe there. Yeah, because I'm going to get into. My thought is, if I'm going to get in, the worst case scenario is he kills me probably on his turn, right? Because I don't think he goes for anything in 1 turn, which means I can run away again if I want, or I can charge and keep him there. I can just keep him there the whole game. But my plan is to kill him. On the right side, I move up with my Vampire Knights to be in the flank of the Shrieking Horror, but also so that if he moves
units.
Rear of all his units, actually trying to get the characters. I know we can just move them in, but I want him to start thinking about how I'm going to threaten them. I move in a position where he can't, or I think it's very difficult for him to chaff me with his spear unit. as well as with them. So there's that, and then my bats have to take another chaff job against his things. So
you're either eating very slowly or that's your second bacon sandwich.
No, I haven't touched it. I as I said, I'm hanging.
You just you're all business.
So
okay, whoa, hang on.
Over here, I mean, magic.
Your lord doesn't kill the Barkalite.
Not only has he not killed him, he's not done a single wound to the Varkalek. And I took a wound in response, meaning we draw.
That's not ideal, because he's got a lance, hasn't he? So you're now down to strength 5.
I needed to do a wound and win by 1.
Yeah.
In order to pop him.
Oh.
I was gutted. I not obviously out loud, but I was in my head. I was like, no.
How did that happen? Yeah.
I kill the spectral hunters with the dark coach.
Of course.
And I take the decision to hold him up
with
rather than with Donnie. I don't think I'm going to kill him.
Survive to one turn of combat.
I don't think I'm going to win combat. I just want to survive.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Hold him there.
So you need to kill the Varkalite next turn, though, because that's the whole point.
Yes. So, good thing, though, Shrieking Horror's arisen 1 and is now full points again. So that's fine. Sure. That's saved. He can't get me directly there. But so I just need to survive once. Worst case scenario, he kills my Black Coach and I can still charge him. So there's things on that. But so there's that. I was gutted. Then I kill the Banshee. Zombies do some wounds to each other, but it's largely irrelevant, and that's how it looks afterwards. Yeah. It's irrelevant because I'll kill 10, he'll raise 11. Then he'll kill 10 of me, and I'll raise 11. So it's but so I don't overrun because I don't want any silly flanks happening or anything like that, and whatever. I just sit there on the objective really, and also if he charges both in, I know he can't with the halberds because he's being chaffed, but if he charges both in, he can't get the ones on the right to, as we're looking at it, to the objective. I think this is bottom of 4, so I think I'm 2-0 because the first one we drew.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
On the objective, so I've only got one more turn and I've won the objective, really. And I don't think there's a lot he can do to stop that.
Okay.
But he charges to chaff, and I can't remember. I don't think he charges me, but he might charge with the skeletons as well. He does. So he charges chaff, charges the skeletons into the ghouls, knowing that it's just going to be a grind.
You sure he's charged them? Because he's not closed the door.
So it was because of the tree. So I actually closed the door.
Right.
I think. Okay, so he can go a bit more and I can go a bit more, but the tree doesn't come off the terrain. He does charge though. He also charges his dogs into the flank of my zombies. It's all right. I
mean, your zombies all now come into the flank of him.
Yeah, because I've got 40. I don't think it's a good move because I think I will get his dogs, and he will get no points out of this. So.
Although if you then charge the zombies into the flank of his dogs, if they're alive after 1, then he charges his zombies into the flank of your zombies.
Yeah.
And we got a whole load of really terrible units fighting each other.
Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? It's glorious in that regard.
That's proper 9th Age.
Yeah.
That's what you see, that's what you pay your money for.
So and that's about it. At the top he turns. The skeletons are actually facing the other way. Turns to face the Lord. He chaffs with the Shrieking Horror. So this is actually what I was hoping he'd do because he will scream at me, kill. I'm hoping he kills 5. Well, I'm not obviously. 5 or less. But if he does 6, this is a bad move for me. But if he does 5 or less, it means I've got 3 Vampire Knights.
18 attacks. 9 attacks.
10. That'll be 10 attacks.
Your champion? Yeah.
Yeah, because the champion. I go in 10 attack, strength 7.
Hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s.
And with a standard and a charge.
On 3s?
I'll be hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. I've got my horses at strength 4, which is
He's strength 7 on the charge.
Yes.
Yeah, you
so
would be.
I'm hoping if I do like 3 or 4 wounds, his shriek is minimal to me. I've got a charge and a standard. As long as I don't die from the second shriek, I think I pop him.
Yeah, agreed.
So I was happy with this, and it's enough of a risk reward, I think, for me to just. That's the best play I've got against this shriek.
Over there, yeah, without your other ball. Yeah.
So I'm happy enough. Everything is what it is. Otherwise, he does 4 wounds.
Okay.
So I've got my thing. I mean, I've got vampiric as well at the end if I survive. So I'm pretty sure I will do at least 1 wound, which means he won't kill me. So yeah, it's just how good I do on the wounds. As you can see, the skeletons are where they are. They're actually there to countercharge. However, now, because I'm not 5 wide, he can't close the door.
No, if you hold that combat for 1 turn,
so and
don't kill it immediately. Then,
if I charge in as well, I get him to reform first, and then I move accordingly, or I do it so that effectively he's chaffing himself. Kind of.
If the Shrieking Horror survives 8
there might be a way to manoeuvre it. I'm not sure, but because he's killed more of me, and he should kill even more of me, I think it's harder for him to get in with them.
Sure.
I die.
So your lord did his part by killing the Varkala, but
this turn round. But really, I'm still annoyed at him for taking so long. He obliterated the Varkalak as well. It was stupid.
When he was wounding on 4s.
Yeah. Right. I mean, re-rollable because of blessed inscriptions and stuff. Sure. But like, it makes it even worse that he didn't do it last time. And my dark coach just gets popped. He does like 4 wounds in combat, and I don't do anything to him either. It's not that I've
bad impact.
Yeah. So which means his horror had 6 shrieks anyway. Like it was just
You're
bad.
Gonna lose another lord here, mate.
Yeah. So and this is the top of his 5, I think. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So on to the last picture of the game, and the last picture of the game is the bottom of 5. We didn't have time for any more, and because it was. We had 5 minutes left at this point, so we were like, okay. It was a slightly shorter round, because of food and stuff, but we were like, okay, so I'm not getting another. We knew at the start of his turn that we weren't going to get another one because we weren't quickly through it.
So your lord is alive then? On that
my lord is alive because I chose not to charge. Right. So because I knew I had 1 turn left,
it's. I mean, if he has 1 more turn, you lose your lord. There.
It's such a swing. However, I could have charged the flank as well, and that's what I said. So I could have charged the flank with the Shrieking Horror, challenged so the Shrieking Horror survives.
Mm-hmm.
And just hope my lord doesn't die.
Yes, and you got to recover your.
I go first with 5 strength 7 attacks, hitting on 3s or 2s, unless if I get Rod of Battle. Which, by the way,
you haven't cast this time.
Haven't I? Look in the middle, please.
It's in the middle. Oh, on the zombies. No, that doesn't count.
It doesn't really. No. But I got it off, and he let it through. So
it still does. It means you hit on 3s. Yeah, 1-0. All right, I'll take it. 1-0.
But yeah, so I took the safe option here, rather than going for a big win. I've won the objective. I know.
You're absolutely sure that those ghouls are fighting those skeletons because not a lot is dying there.
Yeah. Well, at this point, we did the combat on the
really
left,
matter,
and we were like, it doesn't matter because we're not.
No, it's going to
whatever we roll. We got 5 minutes, so we're like, whatever we roll is going to mean that someone crumbles a bit. You know, it's not going to kill either unit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did your knights go into the Shrieking Horror? Or did
knights go into the Shrieking Horror?
Oh, they did.
What do they? Yes, they do because I kill it.
Oh, you do kill it.
Yeah, okay. So I go in and I.
Well, he looks like he's mid-rolling dice. Is he dispelling a spell there?
That might be the 6 wounds I did to him. I think to his Shrieking
Horror.
Okay,
he's doing a read.
Literally the last
thing.
And he doesn't get. I mean, he doesn't get enough to not pop. Basically,
not crumble. Yeah, okay.
I think he needs to get 5 of these to not pop and do some wounds to me, obviously. But yeah.
Okay.
So So they go and kill that. That's good. Save their points as well because they've got 3 guys. Shrieking Horror saves his points, and I decide to save my points with the other Lord rather than do anything.
Sure.
So we don't do too much in the way of damage to each other. It's not like 4,000 each, obviously, because there's so many on the board.
There's a lot on the board.
So it ends up a 13-7, which is a 10-10.
Wow, look at that. 13 points difference.
Look at that. It's incredible. So it's 10-10 on points. I'll get the objective for a 13-7. It was an interesting game. It was a wicked game with Gareth. We played a few times now, online and in person. We talked a lot about the combat on the left and whether I should go in or not. And I just said I won't go in. And I think if I go in, it's super spiky. We also said that
if you knew you had a turn 6 coming, you'd have gone in.
I think so.
Because
that's what we said.
We said swing before you get screamed.
Yeah, and regardless, his Lord stays over there for his turn 6 because I have the flank. Right, I might lose some wounds, whatever. I don't know. It's super swingy. It's because if I lose my Lord, I will lose my Shrieking Horror. He keeps his Lord, which is a 510, 720, 750. So 1,250 point swing that he gets, and I haven't got his Lord. But otherwise,
massive.
So it swings so much both ways into like a 16 or maybe even a 17.
Or you go down 9-11.
Yeah. So I don't know. I
think you made the right call, knowing you won't get in the turn 6.
Yeah, I will. I said, like, as we said, I would go in if I have a turn 6 because I need to keep it. I can't afford him.
He would have just screamed. He would have screamed him off.
Yeah.
Especially with only 2 woods left and no Aegis.
So I'd rather take the risk, but as we didn't, I didn't. So yeah,
makes sense.
So neither.
At least you knew that at the start of his turn 5. Because that would have been one of those.
Absolutely.
I really wanted a turn 6.
Yeah.
But if you know that's the situation at the start of Gareth's turn 5, then it's not too bad for him. So.
Gutted about Killicillison because I think if he gets into that unit, I think the win starts racking up for me and the points start racking up because
more combat power over there.
I mean, of his 1475, that was 680. As well, so I think I still get Shrieking or blah blah blah. So it was a really fun game, really tactical, very very cagey, and I guess from my point of view, it was nice to start with a win, but it did feel like a draw. Snatched a win from a draw.
That's the objective.
Which was the objective. So thanks very much, Gareth. As I said, your models look superb. It was a very very fun game. And nice to start a tournament off with a win for me.
Definitely, well done. Good start. Cool. So, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget we have a Patreon if you want to support us on that side of things. Very much appreciated if you already do, or if you're going to. Give us some comments on your thoughts on Lucky Six's changes to his list and why have you not seen all his practice battles? See what you think is going to happen. Predictions for the tournament.
Yes. All the social medias. I'm most interested to see if you thought I could do anything elsewhere to put it more in my favour. Whether I got any matchups wrong or whether I was taking too much risk anywhere. Really.
And the most important question of all, because there were 2 ninth agers who joined you in the football. Who's a better football player, Warren or Craig?
Warren or Craig? Well, Warren was going on about how good Craig was, so I think that's a...
okay, so if Warren says Craig, then obviously it wasn't you.
I would say Craig
you.
as well.
Because Warren's already said it. That's a cop-out answer. Fine. Warren.
I mean, I'm way better than both of them, so it doesn't matter
naturally,
so,
yeah.
But,
you're right, yeah. Good stuff. All right, nice one. We'll move on to the next one. And round 2 clash coming up, folks.
Yes, round 2 clash against Tanker and his Dread Elves.
England captain. What the?
See you later.